Confusing programming is really fun. The best way to learn how anything works is by writing a program about it, or to simulate it. It is frightening how well we learn when tasked with looking at something inside out. That little nudge that we get from accepting the responsibility for making something work and then having the computer complain when things go wrong is a path to perfection. Earlier this week, I asked AI to create a star chart for me, and it created beautiful and highly detailed things. Even though I had no time for it, it was a call to program SVGs with signals. SVGs are things that let you do vector graphics. Unlike pixel graphics, vectors always stay sharp. And as you can imagine, when you program them, you can keep them interesting at any zoom level. Signals are still the wildest thing in computer programming right now. Everyone thinks it's kind of almost mostly behind us, but we haven't scratched the surface. I'm currently testing reactive programmer interfaces, cascading signals and program abstractions. So you only change one value and the application on your screen reacts to it. So it's just like saying x equals x plus 1, and then the program jumps into doing all kinds of calculations. You don't have to talk to it in a special way that you first have to learn about. You just change what you need, and the application does what it's supposed to do. This is where I ended up today. I pulled up a really old link to an interesting program with some magnificent looking code, and I rewrote it to make it support signals. It worked rather perfectly. I am well versed in the limits of HTML now. It's a tiny little program, but it's got big boy code. I wrote my version without the complex parts of HTML, and wouldn't you know it, the HTML state machine at the center of it that makes it look so scary wasn't even necessary. All you had to do was check if you're between tags or within a tag next to an attribute, and that was enough. The whole HTML parser, not necessary. It was a really interesting adventure, like a multi-dimensional crossword puzzle. And I can tell you that the program has 3 distinct phases: sticking markers into HTML in such a way as not to offend it, then taking that marked up unconventional markup language and sticking it into the web browser. Here, you can use all the tools that it provides. So you basically fish out all the markers and make them do what they were supposed to do. Make them dynamic and live and connect them to signals. First you do the attributes, like how web page things should display, kind of their colors and sizes and padding and spacing. And then the hidden tags that actually do the displaying of new information, of text. I view the process of bringing in new tags as an import, as in importing new HTML into the HTML. I've noticed that they might have added an upgrade in there as the code somewhat sticks out, but it very simply allows other web page programs to send in their data so the program can communicate with others. I personally don't use such techniques in serious programming. Putting a layer on top of the document object model is a big no-no for me, but boy was this a lot of fun. I normally prefer to use the bare-bone browser tools, and I like them a lot. the stuff that really controls the web page beneath all kinds of simplifications. It's not that difficult. It certainly does not call for an extra abstraction layer to make it simpler. But for SVG animations, as I noted earlier, and even quick web pages, having a templating library that you know really well is really, really useful. A few days ago, I wanted to publish an article about single-page applications, or SPAs, versus HTTP applications. It also dealt with two ways of doing something. HTTP apps being less demanding and not requiring any synchronization. HTTP is the way the internet used to be, the reason why you have a refresh button. Refresh button is a tool. It announces that you are interested in getting another snapshot of the server state. Now, in the days of in-browser applications, SPAs, that talk to the server in the background without a refresh, the state, as in the internal application state, requires synchronization, because there is now a server state and a state in your web browser. Ugh. The state of HTTP applications is always on the server, so there's just one, pretty much. In SPAs, or single-page applications, you need synchronization. So your program will be notified of new changes, and it is tasked with gently updating your user interface without any disruptions. When you think about it, hitting that refresh button is incredibly distracting. It erases everything. Synchronization is a hard problem to solve. There's no one cookie-cutter solution. Everything has its drawbacks. CouchDB has a wonderful way of solving conflicts, but everyone is trying OT, which is like letter-level data synchronization, and CRDT, which is basically like aligning things together, one on top of another, so that you know that the delete came before update, and then you can cancel out the update if a thing has been deleted. It all has its problems around the edges. I am a huge fan of the CouchDB synchronization solution. Basically, you check what the latest article version is, and you send in one that's higher than that. And if someone else sent in an update at the same time, then there's a conflict. Because though both of you might have sent version 5, each of your updates also has a unique ID, so that it's 5.abc and 5.xyz. So the computer is able to flag an edit conflict, and then you go in there and fix it. You can also solve edit conflicts automatically. You just sort the 5.abc and 5.xyz using a normal text sorting algorithm, like you would sort words from A to Z. And then the one that comes on top is the winner. And even if you have 10 million versions from a million different computers, because you're using the same simple resolution mechanism, as long as everyone has all the documents, everyone gets to see the same thing on their screen. It's a really cool solution. Now, in the age of AI, if there are multiple forms sent in for the same organization, the AI can solve the conflicts rather well. The edit conflicts are pretty rare. You really have to send in the thing at the same time to get one. So, CouchDB solved sync long time ago. It's that live communication that causes all the trouble. In Git or WikiWiki, you are always alerted of a conflict when saving, and you have to solve it manually. It's fair and square. It's part of the saving process. And if we start editing text documents all at the same time, well, that may not be such a great idea. A good, solid editing strategy is like sending an email. Will it go through, return with a vacation message, or will the person quickly reply with errors and mistakes? It's a conversation. It doesn't need automatic conflict resolution. And oof, HTTP applications are wonderful to write and wonderful to learn about computer security from. That's where you get to see all this stuff. When you're working on CRDT and OT and other things, the computer security becomes a little bit more obscure because you have so much more to worry about, like synchronization and transfer and fast network. AI is, of course, more than capable of making correct security recommendations. My Express.js project, also in JavaScript, is now even more fun because of AI. I asked artificial intelligence to secure it for me to harden the security. Its response was precious education, both for the novice and expert alike. I have never had a bad time programming. It has always been fascinating and never, ever once frustrating. Every day, even away from computers, has resulted in learning, or connecting something together, or dreaming up another little program idea. Programming is the ultimate fractal brain teaser, the smartest interactive darn thing there is. Programming has also helped me with bodybuilding, as I independently invented an interval timer for extending workout endurance. And it taught me to appreciate sunny days and fresh and crisp mornings, but also great adventure, where I actually came up with all of my best learning and programming ideas. Oh yeah.